everybody, it's Armored Heart Cosplay, and I'm partnering with Party City to take your Halloween costume to the next level. So I bought this Supergirl suit off of the website for about $50. You might be able to get it even cheaper if you buy it off season or with coupons, but to me that was a really good price. It started off already being really good quality, and a lot of cosplay websites sell this exact same suit or something similar for between $100 and $200. So you're already saving a lot of money. And all of the upgrades that I'm going to be talking about are pretty easy, really cheap, and just take a little bit of time, but are definitely worth it to make your cosplay look more realistic. All right, so we are going to be doing 4 upgrades to this suit. One is going to be puff painting, which is going to take the most amount of time, unfortunately. 2 is we're going to be upgrading all of the foam pieces, so like the S and a couple of little things around the suit just to give it more pop. We're also going to be doing a little bit of paint around the collar to remove the shine, and we are going to be upgrading the cape. And you can find some pretty inexpensive, really nice looking cape material in a lot of different fabric stores. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so here is the original suit, literally right out of the bag. So as you can see, it already looks really, really good. It fits well. All of the templates for the patterns that we're going to be doing are already on the suit, which is great and saves a ton of time in patterning. But there are a couple things that I think I can do to punch it up just a little bit and make it a little bit more show accurate. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is all of the foam work. So getting a new belt out of foam, as well as updating all of these symbols and things with foam pieces. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so this is everything that you will need for your foam project. So starting with your 2mm craft foam, which you could buy at any craft store or online, and this is specifically 2mm craft foam, as well as foam dowels to add to your S symbol. So you will want a silver permanent marker to write on the 2mm EVA foam. You will want a regular black marker for creating your patterns. You will want a box cutter or even household scissors if you don't have one to cut out your foam, glue to attach your foam, paint both red and gold. You will also need paper for your patterns, butcher paper to transfer the pattern from the suit, a ruler, which I like to have on hand just to make nice straight cuts, and then a heat gun, which is optional because I heat seal all of my foam, but that's totally optional. And that's it. All right, so there are a lot of Supergirl S's, so unfortunately you can't just look up a symbol online and hope it's the same size. So what you're going to need to do is take a piece of butcher block paper, put it over the suit, and carefully trace out the S pattern. And then I like to, once I cut that out, I like to transfer that to a regular piece of paper, and that way you have a perfect template for your EVA foam. So you transfer this pattern right onto the foam using a Sharpie in silver, and that way it shows up. And then you cut that right out, and then you have a perfect S shape for your suit. And then that is going to be painted and glued, and it's going to look perfect right on the suit. And you're going to repeat that process for this little guy up here, as well as these cape overlays right here. So let's get started on that. All right, so now that we've done the S as well as the 2 cape overlays and the centerpiece on the chest, we are ready to move on to the belt, which is actually going to be much, much easier because you already have a template base to start off. You don't have to create one from scratch. So that's basically what I did. So I took the original fabric belt and transferred it with a little bit of artistic license to this new pattern. And then I'm going to cut this out, and see these centerpieces here? I'm actually going to make those hollow. So I'm going to overlay one on top of the other. You guys see that in a minute. So there'll be 2 pieces of EVA foam sitting one on top of the other. So there's going to be a base pattern and then an overlay. So once we're done with that, you guys will be able to see it. It's going to be a little bit easier to understand once you look at it. All right, so I finished my updated foam piece. I already added glue to the suit and the glue to the back of this, and pretty much all you need to do is just press this directly to the suit. And obviously you want to be as careful as possible so you're covering up everything, and if you do somehow miss, or if there's silver showing or anything like that, you can just put an edge of black paint or puffy paint around the edges. So the only thing we have to do now is place this down. All right. So I like to start with one corner and kind of move my way over, and that way you know you're covering everything. Okay. And if for some reason you miss something, like I said, you can go back in and add some extra puff paint or anything like that, and that will just sit right there, and that is it. So the next pieces, obviously, once you go through and finish pressing this down, make sure you're not, if any corners, like there's corners on the side that you've missed, you can go ahead and just touch that up as needed. And then the next piece is this top piece right here, and then just place it like that, and make sure it's straight. And that is that. Edges here, because they didn't quite fully press down. So. Trinity's very interested. And if you have one, I also recommend a heat gun just to use so you could press it so it fits a little bit better directly to your body. And that's it. Just placing, these are the final foam pieces that we're going to be placing on the suit and directly gluing them. So I'm just sort of measuring out where that's going to go. And that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. So I've got to wait a couple minutes for the glue to dry, and then we'll put these guys on too. Okay, so here is the old cloak with the old cloak overlays right here, and normally they would just Velcro right on, but I want them to actually be installed inside of the suit so you don't see any of this Velcro or any of the covering. So what I've done is I've gotten a new cloak using fabric from a fabric store. This was relatively inexpensive and was super easy to work with. So I am going to, which I already did, so I sliced through this Velcro right here, and the good thing is it's already sewn down, so you don't really have to do anything except for cut into it. And what I'm going to do is I added these sew-on snaps, which are going to make it more difficult for the tape to pull through. And it's going to be a little bit twitchy, but so these guys are going to be put right through that hole that's already in the fabric. And because of that sew-on snap, they're going to sit perfectly and should not budge. And they're not going to create too much disturbance in the fabric. So you just kind of pull them in and tuck them under, and they should sit perfectly. And the same thing with this side. So again, tuck this in through the hole with that sew-on snap, and just pull it underneath. And again, that shouldn't create too much bulk in the fabric and should make it really easy for that cloak to come on and come off, but not when you're wearing it. All right, and enough time has passed, so we're going to install these covers. So just go ahead and press into that glue, exactly like that. And that covers up most of your fabric. That. And then because the Velcro is already dark, you're really not going to see much of this anyway. So just press that down. And again, if any corners come up, you can just re-glue them. And that's it. All right, so the foam pieces have been installed as well as the new cape. So I pretty much just have puff painting left and adding on the belt, but I definitely recommend trying it on at about the halfway point just to see how everything is fitting and looking, and that way if you have any other changes you want to make, or if, say, corners start to pop up, it's a good way of testing that. Okay, so because we've gone with a gold paint scheme for the rest of the foam pieces, I wanted to paint the collar to match. So what I've done is I've taken some fabric paint in navy blue and black and just started covering up this silver collar so everything will match. and definitely recommend using a fabric paint. That way it'll bend and stretch and you won't have to worry about it cracking and flaking off. And I'm going to paint the entire collar, probably 1 to 2 coats, depending on whether or not the silver comes through. Okay, so for the puff painting portion of our upgrades, basically you will need puff paint in the colors that you want to paint. So I've got a blue, a gold, and a black. And you'll also want these. These are squeeze bottles that you can buy online, because normally when you get puff paint, the tops are very thick and they're hard to control, so that's why you want these with the metal tips, so they're a little bit easier to place the paint exactly where you want. And I have finished the puff painting on the suit, so this was relatively easy. It just took a little bit of time, and it gives great texture. So you just go across the suit and do circles or your lines or anything like that in order to complete the pattern. And when you pull away a little bit, it gives a great, almost 3D printed texture to the suit. Okay, so I'm going to be using navy blue and gold puffy paint to make all of the details on the suit pop. So I'm just going to be doing these lines for now. You could even go in and do all of the details if you'd like to make it even more three-dimensional, but for right now we're just going to do the lines. So this is the original belt that came with the suit. So I did want to make a different one just because I wanted to keep with the gold theme. So this is what the foam belt looks like. So this is double EVA foam 2mm glued one on top of the other, and it has a nice two-dimensional quality because I was able to layer those foam pieces one on top of the other. And then in the back I kept it simple and just added some Velcro, and you can add Velcro with hot glue or anything like that. So that's what that looks like. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done, and you won't see it because it's covered with the cloak. Alright, so this is the final Supergirl look with the suit upgrades, the puff paint, the foam, and the new cape. So I'm so excited with how this turned out. Thank you so much to Party City for partnering with me on this. I'm really excited on how this all came together. Alright, see you guys soon.